I end up eating 6 eggs in the next like 3 hours. So my doctor found a mass in my pancreas. So that's possibly pancreatic cancer. The chance of staying alive is pretty low. Every day we send out food, 3 meals to people. It's specialized for people who have cancer, diabetes.
So you're using a byproduct to produce your vegan eggs. Therefore,
Yes.
it's very sustainable also, right? So how did you solve the problem?
That's our secret. The problem of transport egg is not easy. It's like it broke and the shelf life. So we want to help on that part also. So we want ourselves to one day be able to have the same price as chicken egg or even lower and have everyone be able to access it.
That's very promising. That sounds amazing, Pas. Thank you so much for sharing that.
One time I would try to talk to my friend in US.
Right.
And one day I just talked to him about environmental impact. I lent him a copy of Cowspiracy. The next week he was like, Pas, I just launched Plantbased Monday in my office.
Welcome back to the Plant-Based Podcast Asia, the place to inspire, educate, and connect. I'm your host, Nick, and I'm taking you on a flavorful journey, and today on a plant-based egg journey. I'm very honored to have you here today. Pas, how are you doing today?
I'm good, man. Hello, everyone.
So Pas is the CEO and co-founder of a company called Plant Origin, based in Thailand. But before you started this company in year 22, you spent 27 years in the US in New York City before returning to your home country. So please start off with sharing a little bit about your journey in the US and what you've learned over there.
Sure. First, thank you, Nick, for inviting me to join you in this glorious morning in Thailand. So as per my origin story, I graduated from art school here in Bangkok, which is Pasakorn University. And I was major in visual communication design. So when I was graduated, I decided to continue my education at Pratt Institute in New York City. And 2 years after I graduated, I decided to stay in New York and mostly doing startup since then. I don't think I know what the term startup mean by then. I actually started my first company when I was 18, while still in college.
Wow.
Mostly in publication. And my two company in New York is also in publication. First one is being like New York City guidebook, almost like Sagat. But we are focusing on rental, like apartment rental in New York City, because that's a tough thing to find a good apartment in New York. So after 2 years, we were about to be bought by Fairchild Publication. And then I think Fairchild got took over by Condé Nast. So instead of continuing conversation with Fairchild, we happened to be thrown into Condé Nast. And my co-founder at the time, and it's a bitter lesson for me. He just thinking that he can get better evaluation. So we turned down Fairchild. And then like I don't see that going anywhere. The internet bubble also burst at the time. And I left that company planning to come back to Thailand. Another publication just picked me up and says, hey, you want to join us as a co-founder? So I went over there, and that company is Shaky Media, almost like Shaky Green, the comedians. And we are publishing Bar Cup and Lounge Guide. And then we kind of like progressing to become like online guide. Then there come 9/11. So, you know, we
Mm.
were like that in the midst of 9/11. And after the thing is over, the city is so down at the time. And we have a book launch coming out. So we are kind of like, oh, let's do something to uplift the city rather than just do a book signing. So we come up with this idea called Girls Night Out. So it's a female shopping extravaganza, no men allowed except the staff, of course. And it's open bar, and the girls come in, they pay a little bit of money, but they get the goodie bag that worth $50 to $100. So that become a thing. We were like, oh, wait a minute, we do the event for 2 nights, and is make us money as much as publish one book for the entire year. So we shift the company to become like event based. And we start from New York City, and then we expand to other 6 cities, San Francisco, Boston, LA, I forgot somewhere else. And then later on, we get picked up by liquor sponsor. So they push us to 18 cities. And I was there with Shaggy for like 13 years. And then I left to start the seed, which is vegan and plant-based expo and conference.
Okay, so stop here just for a moment. So just to back up a little bit. So you went over to the US. You thought you're gonna stay there for maybe just a year or 2 years. Ended up staying like 27 years in total. But now,
yes,
where did this shift happen now? So suddenly you're going from this publishing and from this nightlife events to doing plant-based. Now,
yes,
can you please zoom in there a little bit?
yes. Thank you for asking that. So when I moved to US, having to cook for myself, right? Because here in Thailand, you have like family home cooking.
Right.
So I shifted to American diet, which is meat, dairy, and eggs, a lot of eggs. I remember making a pot of Thai food with like a dozen eggs, and I plan to like eat that for the rest of the week. Being a student, we have to save money.
Right.
I end up like eating like 6 eggs in the next like 3 hours on the first day.
Wow.
So in 2012, my doctor found a mass in my pancreas. So that's possibly pancreatic cancer. Like the chance of staying alive is pretty low. Like so they plan to do like a Whipple operation, cutting off a part of my pancreas and stuff. So after 3 biopsy and 6 months later, they rule it as benign. So it's not cancer. And they said it's autoimmune pancreatitis. And they can't tell me what causing it. But I'm looking at my behavior, and the thing that I change is food, right? So I become like eating meat, dairy, and all this stuff. A lot of sugar, maybe some not a lot like liquor as well. Living that lifestyle, party lifestyle. So then I become interested in vegan and plant-based diet. So I watching Fork Over Knife, the documentary, and then I was just like, okay, I have experience in event, so why don't we just do like event, plant-based event. Back then it was mostly grassroots, people having like vegan fest somewhere out in the field, like free space, free entrance, and we were like, okay, like can we have more of a TED talk, but vegan, more professional, and cater to mainstream rather than the vegan, because like the vegan people, they already know all about this, but what about the regular people? So that was a shift to joining into like plant-based industry.
Right. And this was, you're saying 2012. So we're talking about 10 years back.
Yes.
So the plant-based and vegan market in the US at that time was still also rather young, right? So
yes.
How was that? Was that challenging to do?
We were thinking that it's a niche market, right? So we see the opportunity as a niche market that, oh, okay, they start having more product coming out at the time. I think the Gardein was one of them. We have Vega, the vegan protein, and a lot of SME that is creating all these vegan sausages that was like homemade and becoming a business.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not easy. It's not easy. So the first year, nobody know us. Suddenly we show up and then inviting all these speaker, and they were like, "Who are you? You're not in our community. You're not vegan." The first question is, "Are you vegan?" And we were like, well, not really. We're not, we just interested in this as a business. So we were throwing a lot of money at people to have they come and join the event. We giving a lot of discount to people, vendor and exhibitor. I have personal money, and we have some backer, which is the event space. It's in Soho, so it's like very trendy area, and the event was like hosting like very high-end event. So we fortunate that way. So after the first year, my partner, they were like, "Oh, you know what, Pas, this business not gonna make me any money. Even if it's successful, it's nothing compared to the business that he already have." So he was like, "If you want it, you can have it. It's your 100%." And I was like, "Okay, I'll take this on." And then I was like, I have to become completely plant-based. So I was like flex at the time. I was kind of like the conversation with everybody, it just not authentic.
Right.
When you go and then you pitch this idea to other people and you yourself not living it. So I kind of like, okay, I'm just gonna go plant-based 100%. It was quite difficult in the beginning, because when you have to buy or make food, you tend to go back to what you used to.
Your old habits, right?
Yeah. Or it's like you sitting in the office, and then normally I just walk downstairs and then grab whatever at the bodega or like supermarket, and now you just have to like walk through what you normally buy, like, oh, quick sushi lunch or like fried rice or whatever. And now you're like, oh, okay, what can I have that is plant-based, that is vegan? And then like we see that, okay, the problem is the option that is available to you back then it's not much. You're limited to like salad bar and tofu and stuff.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
So let's fast forward a little bit now. Then what made you choose to go back to Thailand and open up your own company, your own startup company producing vegan eggs? So how did that come along?
Yeah. So after 5 years of doing the seed, I have to shut it down because like we're not making money. And mostly it's my own money that I have to pay myself for the living and apartment and expense. So I closed out the seed. I planned to come back to Thailand, but then one of my friends, she's a vegan chef, Dabni Chang. She was like, "Oh, hey, come and help me doing pop-up dinner. Let's just do Thai vegan pop-up dinner." So I was like, okay. And then she was like, "Oh, you're pretty good. Why don't you just come and do like pop-up dinner here like twice a month?" So I was doing that for a while, doing working for Bloomberg, like doing that event. But then it was just like, oh my, I just kind of done with New York at the time and kind of like scared to do something big again. And my parents, they are getting old. So it's kind of like, okay, let's just come back to Thailand, and then like I want to take my experiences and my knowledge and improving my country. So I decided to move back to Thailand. That was pre-COVID.
All right. Okay.
So
interesting timing again.
Yeah. So I came back here. I did one event for European Union. It's a film festival, and after that it was like lockdown. So there's no event business. And me and my other friend was starting this company that we doing plant-based delivery, like a bento. Every day we send out food, 3 meals to people, and it's specialized for people who have cancer, diabetes, and one option for people who just want to be taking care of their health and wellness. And it just stuck at logistic, because like every morning we have to have like 10 motorcycle going all over Bangkok and delivering the food, and it doesn't scalable. So I left that business. They're still running it this day, and I was like, what to do next? And my co-founder just keep pitching me all this idea, and I was just telling him I want to do plant-based egg, because I see the market at the time in Thailand. We have a lot of plant-based meat imitation. We have some seafood imitation, but the only egg, plant-based egg available is from Australia. It's in powder form. And then when I test it, it was just like, okay, that's not very good. It's affordable, but it's just not that great. So I was like, okay, let's just do plant-based egg. Go find me a research from university and see who doing what. And then we have fields coming in. Most of them are mung bean, which is pretty much same thing as just egg, but it's in powder format. So I kind of like, okay, it's okay, mung beans is okay. And then we found this research, which is rice bran extraction for functional food. So they're extracting protein from rice bran, and I was like, oh, like the light bulb moment, because this is byproduct, right? It's rice bran. Rice bran is a byproduct of rice meal, and then they already use this rice bran in rice bran oil production. So it already being used like once, and then normally they were just selling it as animal feed.
So you're using a byproduct to produce your vegan eggs. Therefore, it's very sustainable also, right?
Yes.
And scalable also?
That was one of our IP. So the original research was not scalable. Also, the protein itself is dark in color, have very bitter taste, and very salty. So
how did you solve the problem?
That our secret.
That's
so
a secret.
the technology is precision hydrolysis and subcritical water, and there's a secret sauce in that make the protein come out like lighter in color, less bitterness, less saltiness, and it also scalability for commercial. So in theory, we support to be able to scale up to 200,000 liter tank. The tank that we're using for prototype is 100 liter. And then we just went to pilot plant, and then we just test 500 liter, and everything was fine. Wow. So now we just need to find money to build our own tank.
Exciting. So when do you plan to launch your product, or is it currently already available on the market?
The egg powder is on sale via direct sale.
Okay.
Because we are actually focusing more on the B2B side. So we produce our protein as an ingredient, and we have a few people that are interested, large company. I think I can mention their name: Thai Union, Ajinomoto, Gulico. So some of them are taking our product in their R&D right now. But we just have to customize the product to fit what they need. We also need to add the food functionality to the protein itself, because right now we have to formulate the protein with other plant-based ingredients to have it become egg powder. And you know, we would like the protein itself to have egg functionality like foaming, aeration, gelification, and all that jazz, which is not easy to do.
Of course, of course. But wow, you've come a very far way in a very short time, because you started this in just 22, right?
Yes, I think it's 1 year and 4 months now.
Okay, exciting, exciting. So let's talk a little bit about the plant-based market in general here in Thailand and in Asia, or you can also compare it to the US, because you have seen the growth happening there. So where is Thailand at the moment, in your opinion?
It's come pretty far compared to 5, 8 years ago. I mean, US and Germany is very robust. You know, I've been to Berlin a couple months ago, and almost every place has like plant-based option. In Thailand, when I was looking at the market 5 years ago, there was like barely anything. Of course, we have the old school vegan, we call it J,
right,
or vegetarian or Mansavirat in Thai, and that was mostly tofu based. It's either like stir fry vegetable with tofu. Some of them has egg, like actual chicken egg in it. When you go to the restaurant and order vegan food, they just don't understand it. They just I remember I was just like, okay, can I have like stir fry vegetable? And they show up with the shrimp. I was like, I didn't order shrimp. You know, and their mindset was to add animal protein so they can sell it at a higher price. So 8 years ago, I remember that one restaurant at it's like kind of like dessert place that was like prominent, like new school vegan. It's slightly different in the tourist city like Chiang Mai or Phuket, because then when there's a lot of foreigner come and a lot of you know, the tourists are vegan and plant-based, they seem to have more plant-based restaurant in the touristy area.
Right,
but I mean,
higher demand, yes.
Yeah, overall in Bangkok, it was like just one area where it's like Seoul, you know, like let's just call it downtown, or like you know, like trendy area that have a lot of vegan food. So now you start seeing more and more like ready to eat product in the frozen aisle in the supermarket, which is a good thing. For the plant-based milk, we already there for a long time ago. So just nobody just pay attention to it that it's a plant-based. You know, because like I remember when I was in high school, when I was young here, we drink soy milk. Like we don't drink cow milk, and that become kind of like commercialized later when we start like importing like the price cow from Australia and start having like, oh, this like fancy like milk is good for you and stuff. So now we have like a big ISO of plant-based milk, but it's already there. It's always been there. Now it just have more option. So rather than just soy-based, now we have, you know, oatmeal, almond milk, rice milk. Some of them are very good.
Right.
Some of them.
So where do you see the challenge that the Thai plant-based market is facing at the moment to like grow to a level where like, you know, Europe or North America is at? What is needed to get there?
I think we need help from our government, which is I see is increasing. Also the mindset of the people. For the governmental part, from what I see, they tend to invest in technology as IoT, internet technology, medtech, robotic, you know, things that are they feel that is more need to advancing, you know, that type of technology. You know, we have like agriculture, but it's like drone, or like, you know, the what you call the laser. They have this car that was like lasering the weed on the field. so it's like a heavy machinery technology. The food technology, people tend to don't focus on the environmental impact of animal protein, right? Because they kind of like look other way. So then we were like, oh, we need to do this to save environment, and they were just like, really? Like, why? But now I see the shift, because we call, like, Thailand, we call ourselves like kitchen of the world,
Right, exactly.
right? But then now it's like we have to be tech kitchen of the world. We have to be able to create future food to feed the next generation.
Exactly.
I mean, like our animal farming is not as bad as US, but don't quote me on that, because maybe we hide it so well that we don't see the problem. Because like in US we have like an investigative journalist that like snuck into audit farm, and then they export what's happening there. But in Thailand, maybe nobody want to do it. So I don't know if the farm quality is good or bad, but I know that there's an effect of like water uses, and then like wastewater and land use. Like we heard a lot of people like invading into like restricted forest, and then making chicken farm. And those are mostly rich people, like in a way of don't want to say it, but like corruption or something. So there's a problem there. And so whatever that we can decrease the effect to the impact to environmental, we should do that, and at the same time creating more food to feed the people.
Right. And do you think that the price barrier might be another challenge? Because in Thailand it seems like we have different kind of quite a big scissor, as we would call it, right? So we have people on a very low wage, and people living in Bangkok maybe on a higher wage. So how is it possible that we can get the plant-based message, or the plant-based food really, out to all of the people? Because many of the products now, as you mentioned, now we can find them in the frozen food sections. They are rather, let's call it, rather on the pricey end, right? So do you see, and maybe also with your product, is that something that could eventually solve the problem? Because as you certainly know, Thai people, they love to eat omelets, and egg is a big part of the diet. So I guess the price is often a deal breaker as well. So what solutions do we have, or does it just need more time to get there?
That is very important point. I think there's a several thing I need to address. First, some of the brand are choosing to go as a fancy food product, or high end, or aspirational, and they said, oh, like the new generation, they don't mind paying like 100 baht for like fried egg, which they can go to the restaurant, eat real egg for 20-30 baht. There also the scale of the production. So if the production scale is higher, of course the cost will be coming down. So I think that's the two things. First is the business owner choice of just choosing to be high end. Of course they have to make profit, otherwise they can't help you. If you can't help yourself, then you can't help anybody else. But the old school product that was like soy based, or like white wheat gluten, those are quite affordable. They're just boring. They've just been there for a long time. For myself, right now our price is double chicken egg. So let's just say one chicken egg is 4-5 baht. Our price is like about 8 baht, and that's because we are in the prototype scale.
That's that's pretty good though. I mean, of course it's double, but that's, you know, that's already a start. So what is needed to bring it down to 4 baht, to the same price of a chicken egg? Because then, you know, then you can really go for it, right? You can get the whole market. I mean, if you get the taste right, which it seems like you have mastered some secret here, and you get the price down. But of course, I see your point. It's also about positioning your brand, right? Do you want to position yourself as a, you know, kind of more of a fancy high-end brand, or do you really want to make yourself available for everyone, right? And if we're talking about the sustainability and about you know, new future, moving forward, long term, then we have to break that, you know, that price barrier. So
Yes.
is there a possibility to do that?
Absolutely. As I mentioned, we just need to scale up the production for ourselves, and for everybody else. I think the way we can change things is through commerce.
Mm-hmm.
So if we having plant-based product in the market, then the production will increase, right? The popularity increase, the demand increase, so we can produce more and drive the cost down. Also, at the same time, if you have competitor that produce the product as good as you are, and then like their price is half, then you know you might want to reposition yourself and compete with them. And for myself, like our goal is, well, first, as I mentioned, you know, we need to be able to help ourselves to help other people, but our goal is the help of the consumer, because like the reason that we launched our prototype product as egg is because a lot of people, they believe that egg is a healthy source of high protein, but egg yolk also come with a lot of saturated fat and
cholesterol,
cholesterol, you know. So if they can replace that with our egg and have no problem, you know, that they help. We want to make less impact to the environment for, you know, egg production, and also food scarcity. You know, like there's still people that cannot afford to eat, like even here in Thailand. You know, like they'd be happy to have access to a dozen of real chicken egg, right? But then there's also like the problem of transport egg is not easy. It's like it broke and the shelf life. So we want to help on that part also. So we want ourselves to one day be able to have the same price as chicken egg, or even lower, and have everyone be able to access it.
That's very promising. That sounds amazing, Pas. Thank you so much for sharing that. Now, can you share any other trends that you have been observing in the plant-based market, not just in Thailand, but maybe in the whole Asia Pacific region?
So I see a lot of product coming out, right, in US, but I also see the decline of the product that already came out a few years ago. So one of the meat patty burger, they sale was like dropping. And so the trend is you have to create new product, not the same one that everyone else has. If there's already 10 plant-based burger in your market, then you shouldn't do it unless yours is like significantly much better than the rest. It's no reason to do that. If there are already like plant-based shrimp, like 5 brands in the market, then don't do it. But the one item that came out was, and then the sale was like skyrocket, was a Scott egg. So vegan Scott egg. And you know, so that is kind of like you have to come out with a new product that nobody has, then that's great. I also see a lot of increasing in biorefinery, fermentation technology. So the protein extraction in Glasgow, UK, they just launched their new factory. it's called like 40 million pounds, and it's huge, and it's a scale that beyond my imagination, right? In Thailand, we're talking about like, oh, can we just have like 10,000 liter biorefinery, and their tank was like 10-story tall, and they're like 5, 6 of them, and it was like, is that oil tank? What is it? It's like that our biorefinery. It was like, I mean, it's like, whoa. So if that happened over there, that means it can happen here and anywhere else. That means the market is ripe, for us to go into the biorefinery, fermentation, cell-based. We have lots of information coming off from Good Food Institute in US. We have ProWake incubator in Germany that pushing the movement and the technology and for the startup. Here in Thailand, we have many organizations that now focusing on food technology. Here we have NASDA, we have FedF, which I'm sitting in that space right now. And like many organizations are pushing plant-based startup. I think now we just have to be more advocate to the consumer of why they should make a switch.
Right, and that's an interesting point. So which is the best way to educate them or to talk to them? And you're a Thai national, so what do you think for Thai people is the best way to maybe convince them to try a plant-based product? Is it just the taste, or are there other factors involved?
Well, taste is the king, right? Because no matter how healthy they are, if it tastes horrible, nobody's gonna want to eat it.
Exactly.
So, but beyond that, I would say is the conversation. And when I say conversation, I think the most important thing is the listening, because nobody like being told what to do. And most of the time when we want to advocate for something, we forgot to listen to the person we speak to. We becoming speak at them and preaching and virtue signaling, and that never gonna work. So we just have to like, okay, we want people to switch to plant-based. And in Thailand, the easy way to go in is health and wellness, right? Because more people are concerning about their health. So we just have to show them the benefit of switching to plant-based diet. And the rest, the environmental impact, the animal cruelty, that can come later. That's one time I will try to talk to my friend in US, and I show them everything. And he like, oh, what about your health? And he was like, I don't care. I'm going to die soon. So then I was like, what about the animal? And they was like, oh, whatever. Right. And one day I just talked to him about environmental impact. And I lent him the copy of Cowspiracy. And then like the next week, he was like, Pas, I just launched Plant-Based Monday in my office.
Wow.
So you have to figure out which way to get into each person. It's not the same. Exactly. And that's why you have to be open mind and listen and see,
Right. Exactly. So before we wrap up, a question I really would like you to answer. So if you were to make a prediction, how long does it take for Thailand to kind of step up their plant-based game to get the market to a level like where Germany is at?
I would want to predict it 5 years. And you and me are gonna have to make it so, right? So
right, we're working on it. We're working on it, definitely.
Because like in this 1 year of my startup journey here in Thailand, I see like significant shift of more plant-based technology and product that coming out. Now the reason for a lot of startup is just purely business. And that's okay, right? But then we're gonna have to like make sure that all the founder are understanding when they're doing their presentation and they're talking about environmental and this and that, we just have to make sure that they're actually into it 100% and not just saying it. And if it continuing the way it is, I would say 5 years we should have more available plant-based option everywhere in Bangkok, in Chiang Mai, in Phuket, and the rest of Thailand.
Right, right. Well, thank you so much, Pas, for sharing all of this and the interesting conversation. Where can people follow you, or where can people buy your products?
Our website is plantorigin.co. If you in Thailand, our line official is EXXEGG.
Okay,
It's
so
almost
egg,
like,
right?
yeah, it's
Egg,
like
egg.
egg. And my personal Instagram is awesome, spelled with the 3, so AW3SOME.
That's awesome, Pas. Thank you so much. And
Thank you, Nick.
for everyone, if you enjoy this show, please help to share it with your friends and, help to make this movement grow, help to inspire, educate, and connect. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.